We're going to talk about quadratic roots and what they are, but here's a heads up. We actually did this last year. So quadratic roots are the points because there may be more than one, the points at which the parabola crosses the x-axis. That's it. It is literally, where does it cross the x-axis? That's the solution. It's that easy. So if you remember back from last year, we called them a lot of different things. We called them roots, which is already given to us. We called them zeros. We called them solutions. And we called them x-intercepts. All mean the same thing. So you got to be very familiar with the vocab to understand. I can name any, I can say find the zeros, means the same as x-intercepts, means the same as solutions, means the same as roots. Synonyms for the same word. Okay, so what does it look like if you have two solutions? Well, it's crossing the x-axis 2 times. What does it mean when you have one solution? Well, it means it crosses the x-axis 1 time. And no solutions means does not cross. Doesn't cross the x-axis at all. So here's what we do when you have a graph. Some examples that we're going to do together. So here's the graph. Now, you need to find the axis of symmetry because it makes using your graphing calculator so much easier. So I'm going to find the axis of symmetry. I'll tell you why in a second. And remember, it's negative b over 2a. So I know that it is negative 4 over 2. So my axis of symmetry is negative 2. That means my vertex is going to be located somewhere along this negative 2 something. I don't really care about that y right now because I'm going to let the calculator do the work for me. The reason is because when you do your graphing calculator, and you go to y equals, I'm still going to type this in, x squared, you should know how to do that, x squared plus 4x minus 5. And now, when you go to table, you know automatically you need to find out where your x-axis, where your x value is negative 2. So that makes it easy to locate and fill in the table of values. If you're just looking at, you may not know the vertex right away, so it zones you in to where you need your graph, where you need that table to be. So again, I'm going to go units up, negative 5, 0, and I'm going to go down, negative 1, negative 8, 0, negative 5, 1, 0. I'm going to plot these points, so I'm going to start with my vertex of negative 2, negative 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then I'm going to go negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, 2, 3, 5, negative 5, 0. And I can just, because of that axis of symmetry, I can just go here, here, and here. Here's my graph, and look, there's a solution and there's a solution. So when you're looking at the graph, oh, I should have gone all the way through. When you're looking at the graph, it's when your y values are 0. And when you're looking at a, that's not one, sorry. And when you're looking at a table, it's where it crosses the graph, but on a table, it's where your y values are 0. So 2 easy ways to find them. Your y value is 0, or it crosses right there. The main thing is remembering in algebra, when you have more than one solution, you have to put brackets around it. So I am solving this equation, and I know that x is going to equal negative 5 and 1. And remember, it's least to greatest. You must write those brackets, okay? All right, let's look at number 2. Actually, let's jump down to 3. Let's do 3. All right. And first thing I'm going to do is negative b over 2a. So I get x equals negative 2 over negative, or 2 times negative 1. which means negative 2 over negative 2, which means a positive 1. So right away, I know that my axis of symmetry is located at 1. That's all I care about. It gives me where I need to go on my graph. So I'm going to go to y equals, I'm going to type that in my calculator, negative x squared plus 2x minus 3, and I go to table. I find where my x value is 1, and then I go negative 2, and 2, negative 3, 3, negative 6, 4, negative 11. Okay, and then I go, did I type that in correctly? 1, y equals negative x, 2x minus 3. No, I did that. And so 1, negative 2. Okay, yeah, I did that right. Sorry. And then I'm going to go 4, negative 11, and then 1, scroll up. I was getting lost between the one above us that we did not do. Okay, and I get, it runs off the page. But looking at this, do you see any solutions here? Is my y value ever 0? No. So what happens when you plot the points? I'm going to start at my vertex, 1, negative 2, and then I go 0, negative 3, negative 1, 6, and I'm going to go the opposite way. And so there is no solution. So x equals no solution. You don't have any solution for that one. Okay. Now, that's using the graphing calculator. That's looking at the graph and determining. So let's talk about the discriminant and what the discriminant is. So the discriminant is when you're looking at an equation for a quadratic formula, like up above. If we use the discriminant, that's going to go ahead and tell us how many solutions there are. So the discriminant tells us how many solutions there are. And remember, there can be 1, 2, or none. So here is your formula for finding the discriminant. B squared minus 4AC. And there's this sweet little ditty that we're going to learn later. But it's B squared minus 4AC. So if D, the discriminant, what you're solving for, if D is greater than 0, 2 solutions. If D is equal to 0, 1 solution. And if D is less than 0, no solutions. All right, so D is greater, 2, equals 1, less than is nothing, no solution. So let's take a look over here. My A value is 1, my B value is 5, and my C value is 4. Coefficient of A is 1, coefficient of B is 5, coefficient of C is 4, right? So I have B squared minus 4 times A times C. 5 squared is 25. Remember, this is one big multiplication problem. Negative 4 times 1 is a negative 16. Negative 16, and 25 minus 16 is going to be 9. So the discriminant is 9. That is greater than 0. That means there's 2 solutions. Greater than 0 is 2 solutions. So let's do one more. Let's do this one over here. I have A equals 2, B equals negative 4, C equals negative 3. Actually, we're going to do 2 more. So I get B squared, negative 4 squared, minus 4 times A times C, which is 16. This is one big multiplication problem. So it's going to be positive because a negative times a negative is a positive 12 times 2 is a positive 24. And this number is greater than 0, making it 2 solutions. Okay, we are going to do another one together. I lied to you. We're going to do number 8. So I identify A equals 1, B equals negative 3, C equals 10. So B squared, negative 3 squared, minus 4 times A times C, and I get 9. One big multiplication problem is negative 40. That's going to give me a negative 31. That's going to give me less than 0. That's going to give me 0 solutions. So that's the discriminant. If you're struggling, come see me.